Mumbai is a city in constant motion, a dense, vibrant metropolis of millions, characterized by its open streets and a sweeping coastline that drops off into the quiet dark of the Arabian Sea. On November 26, 2008, 10 members of the Lashkar-e-Taiba militant group exploited that darkness. They approached the city on inflatable boats, moving silently toward shore. After sailing from Karachi and hijacking an Indian fishing trawler to cross the maritime border, the group slipped into the Kolaba coastline. They landed undetected, disappearing into the city's dense urban fabric. The attackers split into pairs. They carried assault rifles, grenades, and a coordinated plan to strike multiple high-profile targets simultaneously, aiming to paralyze the city's emergency response. The city's open, accessible nature was used as a vulnerability. Within minutes, a typical Wednesday evening was transformed into an active urban war zone. At 9:58 p.m., the first major strike hit Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus. The hall was crowded with thousands of commuters navigating their way home. Trapped between the platforms and packed train cars, the commuters had almost no room to retreat. 58 people were killed in a matter of minutes. The on-site railway police were severely outmatched. Armed mostly with aging revolvers and batons, they were unable to stop the attackers' use of automatic fire and grenades. This initial massacre functioned as a shock-and-awe tactic. While the city's command structure struggled to comprehend the scale of the station attack, other strikes were already beginning across South Mumbai. By 10:15 p.m., the assault reached the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel. For over a century, this landmark had stood as the premier symbol of Mumbai's heritage and prestige. 4 terrorists breached the hotel entrances. They moved through the banquet halls and corridors, systematically firing on guests and using grenades to start fires across the upper floors. As the building began to burn, the hotel staff made a spontaneous decision to stay behind. Led by personnel like Chef Hemant Oberoi, they focused entirely on the safety of those trapped inside. Using their knowledge of the building's service entries and hidden kitchens, these unarmed employees guided over 200 guests to safety, often standing between the gunmen and the people they were protecting. The staff possessed no defensive equipment. They relied on local knowledge and courage to navigate the dark halls, while the militants continued their room-by-room search for targets. In the early hours of the siege, before the specialized military units arrived, the primary defense of the city was held by these ordinary citizens protecting their guests. By November 27th, the crisis had expanded to Nariman House, a Jewish community center. The attack had evolved from a local shooting into an international hostage situation. 6 people were killed inside the center, including the resident rabbi and his wife. Their 2-year-old son survived only because his nanny managed to hide and then flee the building with him during a lull in the firing. To end the standoff, India deployed its elite National Security Guard commandos. These professional units were tasked with reclaiming the besieged locations through direct tactical intervention. Operation Black Tornado was a 60-hour urban battle. Commandos fast-roped onto rooftops and fought through smoke-filled corridors to clear the hotels and Nariman House, room by room. The operation came at a high cost. Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan was killed during the rescue of a fellow commando, sacrificing his own safety to provide cover for his team. Reclaiming the city required more than just force. It required individuals who were willing to trade their own lives for the survival of the people holed up inside. Throughout the chaos, there was one tactical priority for the local police. They needed to capture at least one attacker alive to provide proof of where the plot originated. That opportunity came at a police roadblock. Officers intercepted a vehicle hijacked by Ajmal Kasab and Ismail Khan, leading to a violent confrontation in the street. Mumbai Police Constable Tukaram Ombal rushed Kasab's position, armed only with a wooden baton. Ombal absorbed multiple fatal rounds, but refused to let go of the barrel of Kasab's rifle. This grip prevented the terrorist from firing again, allowing the rest of the team to move in and secure the capture. That single act of sacrifice secured the evidence needed to expose the coordination behind the attacks. Kasab's capture eventually led to his conviction and the identification of the masterminds in Pakistan. The 60-hour siege left a trail of wreckage across South Mumbai. 166 civilians and security personnel were dead, with over 300 more surviving life-altering injuries. The evidence from Kassab's capture sparked a decade-long legal pursuit. It resulted in international arrest warrants and a shift in how terror financing is tracked by global monitoring groups like the Financial Action Task Force. But as the fires were extinguished, the city returned to its rhythm. By the following morning, the local trains of the station where the massacre began were already carrying their next million passengers. The attacks left visible scars on the city's architecture and forced a massive increase in its coastal and urban defenses. But in the face of absolute chaos, the most significant answer to the violence was the sight of Mumbai simply refusing to stop.